I got new skates. So these are the Adapt Stealth. And they're unreal. So when I got back into blading, I was looking at the different skates that were available. And honestly, I went over to Oak City Skate Shop and just said, give me some skates. Didn't do any research. I trusted the shop to know what's best for me. And I ended up with some Razors SL, which funny enough, are pretty great skates. Then over the next few months, I started doing some research and I found these Adapt Stealth. So these are handmade skates. They are made with a material called Nubec. It's kind of like a leather, kind of like a suede sort of material. The support area is carbon fiber. So you've got a carbon fiber, kind of like an internal shoe sort of thing. This whole area is all carbon fiber. Goes up the cuff, so this is all carbon fiber. And the Nubec, the shoe sort of leather material, is what covers it and keeps your foot in that little shell area. When I saw these, I was like, I can't believe we've come so far that we've made our own skates by hand, handmade skates. And I always wanted to get a pair, but they are a bit cost prohibitive. So these as a boot only retail for around $400 to $425, depending on where you are and the exchange rate with the euro. A complete set is almost $600. So it's a little bit out of my price range. It's not something accessible to most skaters. But my friend Steve Johns had a pair that he wanted to get rid of. And they didn't quite fit him perfectly. And he said, you know what? Why don't I send them to you? See if you like them. And if you do, you can pick them up. If you don't worry about it. Just skate them and let me know what you think. So aside from the carbon fiber shell and the Nubec leather style suede skin, there are a few really cool features to this skate. First of all, it is a very deep V-cut. So this back area is very low compared to most skates. This is probably going to help with forward and back lean since the carbon goes all the way up to the top of the cuff. You're not going to get a lot of lateral movement. You're going to get a lot of forward and back, which is probably really good for sole grinds, for landing gaps and really compressing on those landings. It's going to be really interesting to see what these feel like skating. It does come with a buckle. This is a machined buckle protector that it uses a Velcro strap that goes across and then locks your ankle in the skate. When Steve sent these to me, they didn't have the buckle installed. But after talking with a few people, they recommended that I put the buckle on and see what it feels like. So I'm going to put it on. Use it a little loose, but I'm going to put it on just because I want to know what it really feels like as is. The soles are where it really shines. So this is a UFS boot. This sole plate is machined out of a really fast material. It's very similar to UHMW. I don't know that it is. I think it's some other material. But it is a completely machined sole plate. It has these little speed divots, which should reduce the surface area, making the sole tricks slide a little faster. And it's got a really nice Royale groove that lines up perfectly with the frame. This is a Symmetric Frame. So Symmetric is a child company of Adapt, which is the company that makes these skates. Symmetric frames are machined out of the same material as the sole plates, I believe. And they are a single piece design. So it is a solid block of plastic that gets machined and then you mount it to your skate and you put the wheels in. A few features of the frame. It's got a very nice, easy groove, very similar to the balance frames that I love. It has the pre-groove, so it shouldn't have any issues with break-in. Though these are used, they're already fairly broken in. I have a feeling that these would skate pretty good out of the box. They fit 60mm wheels with no modification, but if you get the special sole plates, the sole plates actually have a recess so that they can fit up to a 65 flat. Now, I don't have any 65mm wheels on hand, so I'm skating them with 60s today. But I bet a 65 flat frame would feel amazing with this setup. So I'm here at my indoor skate park. Unfortunately, my local skate park is rained out today, so I don't have a good comparison to what I always skate every first impressions video. I always go to the Durham skate park. It is raining all weekend. but I couldn't wait to put these skates on. So I came back out here to the factory in Wake Forest. I was here last week on my USD 7, which is a great skate that is my comfort skate, the skate that I always go back to. So I'll have a really good comparison to see how these feel compared to what I'm used to. All right, so these are the size 10.5s, which are 28.5. That's usually what I ride. So as far as recommendations, it's probably spot on where I should be. They feel good. They feel very different than other skates. I'm going to try to put that feeling into words. It's really hard to explain, but I was talking with Guy Crawford, and he said that he skates Adapt, and he says, you know, they feel mostly like shoes. And I totally feel that, where the top of my foot doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel protected. It doesn't feel like there's anything going on up there. It's really just the laces that are keeping the, you know, my foot in this shell, and that leather material wrapping my foot around to keep it in there. It feels okay. Definitely a little squirrely though on airs. I don't know if it's because I'm skating flat on these. This is a flat 60, which last time I skated flat 60 was probably the USD Aeon. It's been a while, but I definitely feel a little bit more squirrely. Having a hard time prepping for an air, compared to anti-rocker, of course, where you've got this really straight line. This feels a little bit more squirrely. Had I known I was going to be at this skate park, indoor skate park, would have probably switched to different frames with an anti-rocker setup. I prefer anti-rocker at this park, but I'm making it work with the flat, just a lot more control than I need. All right, they slide great for soles. No, no issues whatsoever. This angle iron Bower box and me have some history, so I'm a little nervous doing Royale tricks on it. I'm not going to do them here, but I'll do some Royale tricks up in the mini ramp. But I know that skating this usually is a little sticky, and I did not wax it, but I'm having no problem sliding with any sole tricks. I did get some squeaking on sole grind. My front foot was squeaking a lot. These are designed to skate flat, and they're 60s, and they're designed, I guess, to accommodate up to a 65. The no wheel pride protection. It's just a nice tight groove, and I'm sure that I could do it better if I squat down a little bit more and pushed my foot in front. But just doing my normal sole grind, that's used to an anti-rocker setup, I definitely got some squeaking. Nothing so much that I'm stuck or anything, but I am a little hesitant to do Royale tricks right now. These are feeling pretty nice. Yeah, I think a flat 60 is a really refreshing feeling. I don't know that it's maybe not ideal for this park. I think I prefer anti-rocker here. I like skating flat when I can skate really fast in a big area and really get the coast, Like, so I skate and then I just kind of coast and pump around. This park is very restricted, and that's fine, but I think it's more anti-rocker than flat. Anyway, feel good though on the mini ramp. I have more speed than I did last time. Grinding didn't feel weird. I might need a little bit of wax on the coping. I did feel it just kind of, sticking. It's just coping. I mean, it's a skateboard park, so I don't have high expectations that it's going to slide like butter, but definitely didn't have any issues. Doing backsides would just be nice if there was a little wax. All right, they feel great. Really clean. Like when I lock on backside, just feels like I'm coasting. Really good feeling. The Royale definitely is tough. I'm used to getting set and then kind of squishing down. And with these, there's no lateral movement. The carbon goes all the way up into your ankle, which just means that I need to get really low on my Royales. Again, not a huge problem, but it's going to be an adjustment. And if you're just learning Royales, this could be a pretty difficult setup for you. I'm going to keep trying. All right, I got a couple. That is a hard trick for these. I'm not a great skater, so take that with a grain of salt, but you really have to commit and squash down using your thighs and your quads on this Royale rather than expecting any give from the cuffs. There's just no give. It is it's like straight up and down like a splint. And that's really hard for me. Just not used to doing Royales like that. I think with different frames, with a deeper groove, like an anti-rocker frame, I think that would be better for me. It would make the Royale angle not so sharp. A taller frame means the Royale angle you got to get lower. I feel like a quite slightly shorter frame might help, so I'm going to try that. But yeah, this is tough. I'm going to try some soles. See if I can do it. These soles feel good, so I don't have any reservations. But soles are definitely a trick I'm not great at on mini ramps. So we'll see. All right, soles feel amazing, absolutely amazing. This sole plate is so wide, and the material they use is just perfect for coping. I don't know how they're going to feel on ledges. I'm really curious, but definitely on coping, a little bit of wax. I mean, I just float, and you can hear I swapped out the the stock axles with some 50/50 axles. They stick out a little bit, and you can hear that little grind of the metal on the coping. Sounds so cool. And I got my Royale down. Got it. So I think these skates are going to take some time. I think my first impression is that they're very different than any other skate I've ever skated. On the positives, they don't hurt. They feel absolutely amazing on my feet. They feel like shoes, and little low-top shoes, but they have a high cuff, and that's where the negatives are. That cuff is so restrictive that you've really got to commit to your Royales. You've really got to be strong, squatting down, doing groove tricks. Otherwise, you're going to pop out into a front side. Soles are amazing. Super fast, no issues. Even on that angle iron that I hate, I wasn't having any problems with soles. The frames feel good. It's hard to tell on coping. I feel like the groove is a little tall for me. I am planning on swapping them out with some lower profile frames just to see if it makes a difference for Royales. I do think that the Royale angle is attainable for me in these frames, but it's lower than I'm used to, which means it's a little bit harder and I have to change the way I Royale. Again, these skates are different. It's going to take a little while to get used to. But overall, they're a real treat to skate. They feel amazing. They're light. They're they feel like I've got shoes with wheels on my feet, and that is a huge compliment. So thank you, Steve, so much, TruSpin Podcast, for letting me borrow these skates. I'm going to keep them for a little bit, skate some street next week, and then try a few different setups and see what they feel like with different frames. Thank you to Peter and Olga for creating such an amazing product. This being a handmade skate just is incredible, and I don't know how you did it, but it really is a work of art. So thank you for making them, and thank you all for watching. I love doing these first impressions. This is going to be a weird one because it's not technically a new skate, and really it's not a skate that's attainable for most people. Starting at $450, $4 to $450 boot only, it's a lot of money. So I don't know that most people want these skates or need these skates, but if you have the means or you have a friend who has a pair, definitely give them a try. I will do a few more sessions in them and report back. And I don't know that I'll do a full review at the end. Just depends on how my experience goes. But definitely worth taking a look at. These are an incredible ride. Thank you all for watching. See you guys next week.